Hello, I'm Lucy Hoyle. I'm a certified feline behaviourist and author of the book Your Cat Wishes You Would Read, which is available now. Today I'm talking about biting, specifically when we try to interact with our cats. So when we're stroking them or when they're on our laps. So sometimes this is called petting aggression, but I'm going to take you through some reasons why you find your cat might bite you while you're trying to stroke them. So first off, you might notice that they get overstimulated. And this is when we stroke them for a bit too long. And I've seen people where their cats come over, plonk themselves on their lap, and they love the stroking at the beginning. And then you can tell over time it's getting a little bit waning and they're not really feeling it anymore. And sometimes the person will be just chatting away or chatting to me or watching telly, but their hands are still on the cat. They're stroking them constantly. They're just resting their hands on them. And you can see the cat's getting funny. Their fur starts rippling. They're a bit like, ugh, I've just had enough of this now. So be mindful of how long you're stroking your cat and just understand what their threshold is. Some cats, they love all the attention they can get, so they will love you having their hands on them for a long, long time. However, other cats, then yeah, they've got a threshold, so have a think about where their threshold might be, because after that time is when you find you might get yourself bitten. Secondly is the way in which we're stroking the cat. So you might find that your cat likes it when you stroke around their neck, under the chin, that bit in front of the ears where the fur is thin. Like, these are areas where most cats do enjoy a stroke or a little bit of a stroke. And there are certain areas where you might find that you're more likely to get bitten. So the tummy is quite an obvious one, although lots of cats do like that, do get that. And the area on the base of their back, so when you go down the back, just before you go up into the tail, that area there can get a bit sensitive too. So if you find you're stroking your cat for a long time, they're enjoying it, but then you move your hand down the back and that's when you get your bite, then that can give you an indication of what they're happy with and what they're not. So you might want to focus the stroking around the head area and in those areas that you know they like. This is going to depend on the history of the cat. Like, some cats, if they've got history of having sore ears or they don't like having their ears touched, then that can be an area where they're not comfortable with. If they've got any dental issues, they might not like it around the cheeks and that sort of area. So again, every cat is different, so have a think about what your cat likes and see if you can identify any patterns of the biting. Like, when does it happen? Is it when you touch a certain area or after you've been stroking them for a certain amount of time? So have a think. Thirdly is that they just might not be in the mood, and that's totally fine. So you can understand that if you go off and find your cat for a stroke, they're asleep, they're minding their own business, you can see why they might not be in the mood. So that's a pretty obvious one, and what I would recommend is that you get their attention, call their name, call them over, like a little bit of a come on over, come on, and see if they approach you. So approaching behaviour is a really good sign that they're actually in the mood for a social interaction. And often they'll rub their face or their cheeks on your hand, and that's a really good indication of, like, yes, I would like that physical contact. You can guarantee they're in the mood because they've approached you and they've initiated that. So that's a good green light to go ahead. But just stroke them for a few seconds and stop and see what they do. So if they go off again, then that's a good indication for them to say, actually, I've had enough. Whereas if they carry on doing that rubbing, or they're like winding around your ankles and they're really keen and they're really into that interaction, then that again is a good time for you to carry on. So check in with them, make sure that they are actually in the mood and they want it to continue. And that's a good way to keep any biting under wraps. And finally is that some cats just aren't very hands-on cats. Some of them love that social interaction. They want to sit on your lap, they want to be near you, they want to be next to you, they follow you around. They're showing that they want to be around you, but they just don't like that physical side of things. And I hear this all the time because people are saying, he came to me, he wanted to be on me, he's literally telling me he wants me to stroke him, and when I do, then I get bitten. But is he saying he wants you to stroke him, or is he saying he wants to be with you? Because they're two very different things. And this is where biting behaviour can get very dangerous, because if you've got a very, very, very sociable cat, but the biting becomes really, really bad, then that cat can be very difficult to be around, because it's not like that you just leave them alone and they won't bite you, it's that they're coming over to you and the biting's happening. So really, really need to be careful with these cats and just mind how we interact with them. Some cats don't want any physical contact at all, and that's totally fine. Others, it's just a couple of seconds here and there in the ways that they like when they're in the mood for it. So again, I think the overarching theme for this video and for biting generally is to understand the cat that you're working with and to know their thresholds, to know their likes and their dislikes, and to understand their behaviour. So the warning signs that they might be giving you is that their tail might start flicking, their ears might go back a little bit, you might see the fur rippling or standing up a little bit, and these are signs that actually they're tensing up, they're not comfortable, and a bite might be on its way. And sometimes they might look at you a bit sharply as if to say, don't do that, and a bite might follow, or they might just touch you with their teeth. So you're not being bitten, but they're saying, I've had enough of that. So you really must listen to these cues, because if you don't, what you'll find is that they won't bother doing them. They'll go straight for the bite, because that's the only way that they can get you to stop based on previous experience. So it's a learning. They're learning that these cues aren't working. So we must in turn learn to listen to those cues and take them on board. I think that's all I had to say about biting. I think generally is just an overarching thing to every video I probably do is just to respect the cat, what they're telling you, listen to them, and adapt our style to that cat that you're working with. But anyway, that's all for today. I hope that it's been useful, and if you do have a cat that bites you, do let me know in the comments. I do feel for you because it can be tricky, but I'm here to help, and I'll be back another day with another video. Okay, take care.